Thanks everyone for joining today. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land. I pay my respects to the elders, past and present, and the Aboriginal elders of other communities who may be here today. So everyone is on the same page. We're going to change it up today. We have around 5 slides and then we will transition to a conversational format. With questions, please add them to the questions tab and we will answer them at the end of the webinar. So first off, let's meet our panelists.
Morning, Alicia. Hi everyone. I'm Steve Wooding. I'm the CEO of Tapendium. I've been running the Tapendium business since 2017. We've been building it locally in Melbourne. My background's been in a number of product development and business development roles in Australia, and as you can probably tell from my accent, from the UK as well. So been in Australia for 15 years, and as I said, we're running Tapendium for the last about 7 years now.
Yeah, hi everybody, my name's Simon Williams. I look after commercial for Tapendium here in Melbourne. I'm a little bit different from Steve. I come from a hospitality background, and half of my life has been in hospitality, the other half in technology supporting hospitality. Hospitality is a very competitive industry. It's all about service and about service excellence. And I think we have a lot to bring to this conversation today, and look forward to having a chat.
Fantastic, thanks guys. And then for those who don't know me, there's little old me. I'm Wavelink's National Mobility Channel Manager. So I've been at Wavelink for just on 8 years now, and I've got around 14 years of experience in mobility and telecommunications altogether. So my focus and why I'm here today is to enable Wavelink resellers and also create market awareness of our mobility products and solutions. So before we jump in, I just want to take up a couple of minutes to introduce Wavelink, just in case you haven't dealt with us before. So for 25 years, we've been distributing leading global vendors and technologies. Our experience and product intimacy allows Wavelink to aggregate solutions in key growth verticals to grow our vendors and partner presence in Australia and New Zealand. We have 2 pillars of our distribution business, with the first being security, which is focused on Fortinet, and the second being mobility. So our mobility product strategy focuses on increasing mobility within the workplace and having products that complement each other to achieve this goal. Our mobility portfolio includes SpectraLink, Alcatel-Lucent Enterprise, or otherwise known as ALE, New Voices MobiCall, SOTI, Improvada, Scandit, Strikers Vocera, Contact.io, and introducing to you today, Tapendium. So we have a strong history of enabling staff mobility within aged care, particularly with staff devices. We are certainly seeing the uptake of smartphones for staff, with SpectraLink Versity allowing staff to carry one device for communication, checking medical records, looking at care plans, recording and managing incidents, plus also receiving the nurse calls and alerts. This has had a huge effect on staff efficiency, with one SpectraLink client being able to quantify efficiency gains being around 6 to 8 minutes per care hour provided. But then we thought, what about the communication device a consumer of aged care uses? Smartphones and tablets have now been a part of our lives for more than 15 years, making many seniors seasoned smart device users. But the thing is, in aged care, technology can be very siloed, with each piece only doing one thing. We see that in a residence room or apartment or even unit. They have a phone with big buttons to make phone calls, air conditioning controls on the wall, often in an inconvenient spot, a computer for email that they may not necessarily know how to use fully, or they mainly use just simply to send emails to family. And that brought us back to the resident communication device. If the right staff device can make such a huge positive impact, could a resident all-in-one communication device do the same? And could this not only create higher resident satisfaction, but also be advantageous for providers? And that's when we found Tapendium. Steve, can you tell us a bit about Tapendium?
Sure. I guess from a start point for today, to give you a little bit of background about our business, and you'll see our origins have come from not the aged care and the care industry as such, but more from a broader hospitality and a hotel background. And hopefully you'll see during today why we think that's a very relevant progression. But we're the first to admit we're not experts in this space, hence why we've partnered with Wavelink, and hopefully many of the resellers that we're going to be able to talk to through today and onwards. So Tapendium's been a small business based in Melbourne. We've been developing the product since 2017. The company's been around for a couple of years longer than that. And we've been developing, selling and marketing our products to a range of hospitality clients across Australia, New Zealand, and now across broader Southeast Asia. As I said, historically our platform's been very much focused on developing a hospitality solution. So in very simple terms, and we'll talk more about the product, but we've developed a platform that's based on an Android device. We use Samsung hardware, and we're using commercially available tablets, domestic tablets, that allow us to build a content management platform that presents a whole range of guest-facing or resident-facing offers and information. What it's allowed us to do is build up a level of customers, and with the tablet, we are able to present this to residents and guests and allow them to control a whole aspect of their experience on stay in a hotel. And as I said, we hope to be able to bring that to the aged care and the residential care market. Just in terms of a few of our customers, we'll come back to some of the features in a while. I just want to touch briefly on some credentials for some of the partners that we've worked with in the hotel space, because we think that gives us some real relevance in terms of where we've come from to today. So some of our clients that we've worked with across the hotel space, we've worked with many national and international brands. We've worked with Crown in Melbourne, for example, a range of Sofitel, Kimpton, and a number of internationally and globally renowned hotel partners. You can see here on this slide. Across Australia and New Zealand, as I said, we've got hotel partners in Tokyo, in Bangkok. And why is that relevant? We think that talks very much to the luxury market, but also the ability to stay relevant and communicate with a constantly changing requirements from a series of guests in hotel context, and we think residents in this sector we're talking today. I think in terms of the tablet and what I then look to talk to you about today, as I say, you can see the tablets in front of you. We thought we'd just put up a couple of slides to show you a bit more about the detail. The essence of what the tablet is a content management system that allows us to customize content for display and for interaction with residents in a whole heap of scenarios. You can see we've presented two different formats in front of you here, very much focused on a high contrast design or a more luxurious styling, looking more like a product that we feature in the hotel. Again, these are all just content skins, and it allows us to very much customize, working with the operator in each case to work out how they want to communicate and what aspects they want to communicate to their resident groups. Some of the features, and I won't read them through all in absolute detail now, but things like communication and engagement, whether we can do texting, we can do video calls and emailing between family and residents. There's a whole heap of capability around messaging, social event planning and participation for resident groups and for the operating groups on site, through to more mundane but still very important building safety updates, the ability to create messages and target those messages to certain groups of residents as well. Through to more entertainment focus, we've got a whole heap of features where we can integrate to TV controls, for example. This tablet can actually control your TV. It can actually even stream TV-based content to the tablet if you want to have it as a second screen. We've also integrated with many different providers of room controls so that we can do temperature and lights and curtains. And again, really focus on what package of features is relevant to that specific operation. So there's a whole heap of features that we'd like to talk to. It's really about building that customized package that's relevant for both the resident and for the operator.
All right, thanks, Steve. Look, let's drop the slides and have a bit more of a discussion together.
So Alicia, I guess to start this then, you spoke a little bit about why Wavelink sought out Tapendium, but I guess we're probably keen to very much understand and hear a bit more about what you see as stimulating the need for solutions like ours in the aged care sector.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, the industry is definitely going through a period of consolidation now, where larger aged care groups are acquiring the independents, or even independents are teaming up to establish corporations. You know, the result of that is providers are left with sites with different setups and environments. This creates a need for a uniform look, feel and service level across facilities, plus consistency in the equipment and processes for staff. We're also seeing the development and expansion of luxury retirement and independent living, which in turn is changing the expectations of those going into residential aged care, because they have had that higher service level before they enter that residential aged care for a higher care level. The contemporary, I guess, residential aged care facility, it's also evolving the whole model, you know, with a shift to household design principles, you know, not hospital, with a luxury feel. So again, that hotel or resort. You know, the technology in the past and present, including things like nurse call points, annunciator panels and overhead paging, that make facilities feel like a hospital, are no longer used in new builds. And also with the aged care reform, definitely came a focus on provider compliance, transparency, empowering the consumers of aged care with information to exercise choice. We see this in two forms, with the existing aged care quality standards and the star ratings, with both being available to the public on the Find a Provider tool on the My Aged Care website, the primary website that is used to actually basically get a look over a potential residential aged care home. So let's break this down into two customer segments. The first being retirement, independent and assisted living, and the second being residential aged care. You know, aged care providers, they may cater to both, but certainly the compendium layout and how the product is used, it changes based on that segment. And that is also based on the end customer needs. Steve, we are seeing the development of these new luxury retirement and independent living communities. What role can compendium play for these operators?
Yeah, look, I think this is probably, we see this as probably 5 degrees of separation to where we've come from historically. So we're seeing a significant increase in operators trying to deliver really a resort-style living experience for many of the residents, particularly in this sector, which is actually borrowing a lot of thinking and a lot of the skill set coming from hotel groups. We've seen general managers moving across from hotels to independent living facilities now, and we can see that transition of people wanting to deliver that real 5-star luxury experience for people. So we think our experience working with those providers gives us a great start in understanding how we deliver almost a concierge style product. And I think Simon will talk shortly about the other sectors, but I think this sector is really about delivering that concierge focused service. Many of these operators are building sort of resort style restaurants, cinemas, even golf simulators we've come across recently, spa services. So what we can do, as I briefly touched on earlier, is we can really deliver all of that up-to-date content, fully availability with booking links, and the site operation team can really manage that and deliver it seamlessly and easily through our web-based portals and update the information on all the residents' devices. They only need a tablet and a charging stand in every room. There's no other infrastructure, and it's really easy then to deploy and manage this content. As I said earlier, there's some really sensible automations that are becoming much more standard for people. They're expecting to be able to control aspects of their life now when it comes to room controls, temperature. Why walk up to the thermostat in the corner? We can deliver that on the tablet. You can drop the blinds. We can build sensible automations. And as I mentioned, the ability to run the tablet as a telephone. You can make and receive calls. You can use TV controls and even stream content directly to the tablet. So we think it's a real centre point for a resident to be able to interact on a frequent basis. I think the key thing for this particular sector, though, is trying to get in early enough and assist operators that are building new developments, because the earlier we can get in, the more material integrations we can make relevant. So we're not trying to retrofit too hard, but we can make the lighten the load for both the operator and bring that seamlessness to the resident.
So can existing independent living operators still see the benefits from installing compendium?
Yeah, absolutely. And we see that similar conversation from a hotel perspective. It's not just about new builds. We retrofit. As I said, our product is really easy to deploy. It just requires a Wi-Fi connection. You can see that we've got a tablet here and a charging stand. And once that's plugged into the mains, the tablet just sits. And while it's functioning during the day, the resident can come back to it, pick it up, and it's always there, it's always on, and it's always ready. For existing operators, we think this smart operation and smart integrations is really where we can help. Promoting activities, ordering food from in-house or external providers, booking a haircut, next game of golf, all of that can be done really quickly and really easily. We then see that those proactive operators can see some real value in just increasing the communication. You mentioned surveys, we'll come back to talk about that, but I think the ability to communicate with some or all of the rooms from a single web portal allows real flexible communication. It could be as simple as we're running a fire alarm today, you want to alert everyone, you want to send a specific message that somebody's dry cleaning's ready for collection or whatever, but it's a really simple way of being able to communicate with all their residents.
Yeah, I mean, look, aged care and the form in how we consume it, it's certainly going through a time of change and evolution. How can residential aged care providers leverage Tapendium, Simon?
Alicia, look, we offer a great deal of flexibility, whether it be a small operator or a big operator. I mean, we can be an extension of their team to solve some of those operational challenges, and some of those inefficiencies, which are often from a manual process. As an example, Tapendium can be used as a resident to connect to the correct department. Now, often they're using Nurse Call, and Nurse Call is going to the main engagement tool, and it's not satisfactory. So if they want a cup of tea, one, they can they press the Nurse Call. If they'd like a help with the TV, they'll press the Nurse Call. And Nurse Call, if they have an emergency, they're pressing the Nurse Call.
Yeah.
So what we do is with Tapendium, we can really differentiate what is the critical versus the non-critical. And as if a resident would like a snack, then they'll use Tapendium in order to order that snack, and then that request will interject into the food and beverage system within the facility, right into the kitchen.
So not to the carer or the registered nurse?
No, we keep that separate, partition that, and make sure that those tasks which are non-urgent go to the right department. Same with sort of cleaning a room, for example, or we can keep that going to the housekeeping department or the cleaning department instead of going through to the carer or the registered nurse, which are a very valuable resource for that. When we think about our platform, the extensive experience we've had of working with a great variety of vendors and operators means that we can bring all that spaghetti together to form a one solution. We're often the glue that brings it together and makes it easier for an operator. So it's like magic. Things happen because those connections happen in the background. We also, on the front end, we make sure that the platform does exactly what it needs to do in order to have the interaction on lighten the load. So by getting the a strong adoption of the system is by making it simple and intuitive. So doing half a dozen things really well can make it easier for the resident, and at the same stage for the carers. So look, all up, it's a great solution. It can be very much tailored to the needs, the requirements, and light the load for the teams.
Okay, but I mean, Tapendium isn't just beneficial for the residential aged care providers, is it?
No, it can be flexible, and so it can be very much a companion, and it can empower a resident really to exercise their choice in the ability to choose what they want to have.
Yeah. And
that independence is really important. So if they want a particular meal, they can order it. If they'd like to book a haircut or a table in the cafe, they can arrange that too. I think to maintain and build relationships with friends and family is really important, and the tablet provides that interface. And of course, things like phones and video calls are made easy with a tablet solution, which is locked down and impossible to break when it's configured properly. We also think that the community aspects, ability to join in on fun activities like yoga and VR tours is made easy with Tapendium. And I think the ability to give regular feedback, thumbs up, not so happy, smiley face, all those things are great temperature checks on how people are feeling. Residents really can actively choose the services that they want, and at the same stage they can, evaluate that service or give feedback on those services.
Yeah.
It's a long way to improving the perception of a venue for a family and how they're helping their loved ones enjoy quality life and hassle-free life.
Yeah, and I imagine for those coming into facilities doing tours, actually seeing, the usage of this technology, it would be very impactful as well.
Absolutely, and I think carers can use this tool really as a way to engage residents, help them book tours and activities and lifestyle events, just to make it really fun. And with that, again, it becomes easy adoption. But one of the key things is that in venues, you see such a huge range of different devices and technologies.
Yeah.
The team members often have to become IT technicians in order to solve those problems. And some of the devices they're working with are antiques.
Yeah.
And that can be very challenging.
Yeah, so not only does staff not have to, be these IT experts, but then they can also take advantage of the tablets, so they're not doing so much manual paperwork as well and processes. And, I'd also like to highlight how providers can use Tapendium to better understand resident experience. You certainly mentioned it, and I previously mentioned the star ratings, which help consumers compare the quality of residential aged care homes using the Find a Provider tool on the My Aged Care website. That overall star rating is compiled by a force of categories, with the residents' experience making up 33% of that overall star rating, which is the biggest component. Those questions used on that survey, they're actually readily available online, and using those questions, an experience survey could be triggered, say, weekly for the residents to complete on the Tapendium tablet. This could allow providers to understand how residents feel about living there and make continuous improvement from that feedback. Any negative feedback can be addressed, ensuring the next survey outcome is better. And through having a better understanding of your residents' experience, you can also catch an issue before it turns into a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's, communication is key to this, and the platform has a huge ability to be customised to improve resident satisfaction. I mean, the comfort, the operation, and the aged care quality standards, it's really important. And, if it's done right, it's definitely going to increase the star rating. The ability to be, the Tapendium is really conducive to the aged care providers, and whether it's retirement, independent, or assisted resident living, we feel that the product offers a great range. I mean, interoperability means that we can work with a whole variety of different providers and have those deep integrations. And with those deep integrations, it takes out that manual work in intervention. And the customizability of this means that we're able to tailor something, curate a platform that is fit for purpose. It does, less is more. It provides something which is always there, always ready, always on, and that reliability, and it's customizable to the things that are going to add value and make a difference to the operator and to the resident. Automation, these days is everywhere. Wherever you can automate something, you can save them time. And having great smart automation that's reliable, we do. Steve and the team work on APIs with a variety of different systems. I think we've done one of every flavour now. Hospitality can be very fussy, and they have very high standards. And so we know that our experience in the past 7+ years can serve well when it comes to doing these tricky automations and making them reliable.
Yeah, and I guess from that point of view, staff, carers, registered nurses, they can actually concentrate on providing that meaningful care instead of the more time-consuming manual processes.
Yeah, and as Steve talked about before, the platform itself is very portable. The portability of the platform was important to us. We had a look what was around. We knew that TVs were used a lot, and they're certainly not portable. And we felt that the Samsung 11-inch has served us very well for almost a decade within the hospitality sector. And it provides a good screen, a clear screen. And we developed hardware to suit that aftermarket product.
Yes.
So the stand and the charge stand has been very carefully considered to make sure that it trickle charges, and it's reliable and it's trustworthy. So it's been bulletproof for us, and so we've stayed with that as a fixture of our technology. We can work on other hardwares, but this hardware has been very reliable, and we haven't seen a need to move. When it comes to maintenance, often people say, well, look, how reliable it is. Well, It's very reliable because it's locked down with a device management software that can be all monitored from panel, and so we can see the exact credentials of the device at any given time, and we know the life of the device from as far as the battery goes, and any updates that we need to push, we can do that remotely. So we have a great deal of reliability. It's from a low maintenance solution, easy to install. And
yeah, so I guess the concern that we come across is, when a family comes in, or someone comes in and they play around with the settings, and suddenly the resident goes to use it, and it doesn't work as they expect it, and then the staff members have to come in and reset everything, or at least try, and this can take up valuable time, that they could be doing their actual care tasks. How does Tapendium actually combat that?
Well, I think I throw Steve for that one.
Yeah, look, I think it's a really good point, because no operator wants to be a full-time IT support desk, and we're very much aware of that. That's why we've spent, even though we're a software team at heart, we've had to spend time on making sure this product solution is an end-to-end solution, because in the same respect, a 5-star hotel doesn't want to be managing devices in a whole heap of state of different forms when they go into a guest room and do a changeover. So we spent a lot of time working with Samsung. We've integrated their Samsung Knox mobile device management platform, which means that we can deliver a product that stays in a known state all the time. We can remotely access it and control it, manage and control updates. We can remotely do all of that. And literally on site, all that's needed is a decent Wi-Fi connection. We don't have a whole heap of, doesn't need to be super fast, but as long as we've got a predictable Wi-Fi connection, we can keep that device running in a known format all the time. And I think it's really important that operators don't see this as almost a reason not to invest, because we're bringing in a whole heap of technology that can go wrong. That's often what people fear. And I think we've been able to break it down to say, we can remotely configure this, we can even remotely set most of it up and deliver it in a known format.
Amazing, amazing. So, look, today we've heard a number of ways the platform can be used, but at the end of the day, the beauty of Tapendium is the product can be whatever the operator or provider wants it to be, and it also continues to evolve with them. Throwing to our audience, let's see if there are any questions. All right, let's just have a look. Okay, so the first question I've got here is, do you see a place for this technology in hospitals?
Yeah, that's interesting actually, and more for me for not mentioning it earlier. Funnily enough, we've actually just launched into our first hospital, and this has become effectively a bedside information, a patient entertainment system. We've integrated with the IPTV solution in that hospital, so that not only, as I mentioned earlier, the tablet can operate as a remote control for the panel that's on the wall, but they can also actually, in this particular use case, they wanted to be able to stream the content. So all the TV channels that are available on the TV can be streamed directly to the tablet as well as being able to offer all the information on the various aspects of the hospital. We're looking at integrating to gift shops and flowers and a lot of other services on site, including also the ability to choose and select meal plans.
Okay. The second question I've got here is how is the user device friendly to a client who lives with dementia or cognitive impairment?
Again,
I can take that one. You can take that one. Either. I think this is something we considered when we looked at it, and really that's the reason of when you actually look at the two tablets here, you see two formats, and that's what it comes down to, the customization of the product. So we've got one that looks like a hotel, and then the other brighter design is a much more simplified design, being this one that I've got here. So obviously we've got quite a few tiles on here. This could be cut down an awful lot. This could literally be 2 panels. This is a really good device to be able to do music therapy too. So it may not be something that the person with that dementia or cognitive ability uses full time, but it may be something that their carers and care staff actually use. So they come in, they can pop some headphones in, on and then do the music therapy, or they may use it to connect with their relatives and make phone calls and things like that. You know, it's still, because it is so customizable, you can make it as simple as you want, or you can make it as complex, as pretty, as, you know, to do as many services as you want as well. So it does actually sit across a whole lot of users.
Can I just add a couple of points to that?
Absolutely.
So I think for anyone who's looking at this, so the way we built this interface, and I guess it's probably worth saying, to keep it simple, Simon mentioned earlier, to keep it simple is not simple in its process. So we spend a lot of time on the user interface design to make sure we can promote key modules, as we call them, tiles, but we don't have to run as many. We can focus on a single one or even two, but basically the ability to launch these individual tiles means that we can customize, as Alicia just said, that content to only deliver what that specific operator wants to use, or even in some cases what that room wants to use within that facility.
That's exactly right.
It doesn't have to be a one size fits all, but what we have spent a lot of time is making sure that the user interface design doesn't need anyone to sit and read a manual before you can pick it up and work it out. It should be, it's connected to the Wi-Fi, you pick it up. We've got the ability to have multi-language, which is important as well, not necessarily for that specific question, but another.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because we do have quite a lot of you know, people who do have language challenges, and English isn't their first language.
Absolutely.
So the fact that you can actually have this in your preferred language is
it's very easy to customize then to add a new language to. Some operators will be able to manage that on site. We can bureau it out to a translation service if required.
And I think it's important to add is you can flick from one language to the other. So there's no reason why you can't have it in Mandarin and English. And so if a carer came in and didn't speak Mandarin, it's English.
Yeah, it's not it's not a fixed mode.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the other point too you made before there, that when you're actually in a facility, you don't have to have one singular setup for everybody. So depending on cognitive ability and how you want to use the tablet, you know, in one room it'll have a lot more functionality and features. In another room it'll have those one or two tiles. So you can really fit the user as well.
Yes, I mean we see that all the time. The ability to customize. We can customize down to what we consider to be a single device or a single room, but we can group those rooms together so that you could have for a certain group of residents, they get a particular look and feel, and we could even house different styles of look and feel within one facility. So
so if they've got a retirement living section or independent living, and then residential care, low care, heading towards high care, you can change that up.
Absolutely. And we often see, I think that's where it's really important to say you might have certain features that you want to enable or disable as you go through, and as residents go through that journey, as they maybe get older, they want to just focus on doing a few good things well. Maybe we can, and that's the whole point. We're not experts in this. We're presenting a solution that really the care providers are the experts. We want to facilitate how they want to deliver that care as it changes.
Yeah, and how they want to deliver that service.
Absolutely, yeah.
Any other questions there, guys? Okay. If we've got no other questions, I think we might finish up. So I just want to thank you so much, Steve and Simon. It's been a really great discussion today. And I also want to thank our audience for your attendance today. Let's continue to understand and engage together. Now, if you'd like to see Tapendium in action, please feel free to make an appointment with me to view our demo instance. But we also have some loan tablets available, so you can experience Tapendium firsthand. Just reach out to me and we can organise that loan and for you to get a tablet, and then you can see it for yourself. If you'd like to just discuss it further or have any other questions that you'd like to ask me offline, please contact us via phone or email. Let's chat. All right, perfect. Again, thank you everyone for today, and I hope everyone has a great rest of day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.